Hello everyone, this is Telemokos, also known as Andrew Parnell from Tuesday Night Eternal. Back with another deck tech tonight. I really hope you all are enjoying these deck techs. We did the first one on Cultists, we did the last one on Huru. I'm having a blast putting them together. It seems like people are enjoying them, so I really hope you guys are enjoying them. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments or things you'd like to see more of or differently. I'm always open to that feedback and making this content for you, so hopefully you enjoy it. So tonight we're going to go over a spicy one. I really love this deck. This was actually a deck that I switched over to at the end of my run to push that last push through Diamond 1 into Masters, and it's a really nice one, so I'm having a lot of fun with it. This deck was sent to me by MurderOfCrowss over on Discord, and it's a pretty sweet one. It's got a really good matchup against most of the field, and I think it's pretty strong against Cultists as well. So if any deck can be, this is the deck that I think probably has the strongest matchup against them. So let's go through some options here. So this is a Feln Control deck, really based around packing some really powerful cards in the form of Incarnus, 4 of Incarnus, 4 of Sodi Wingbreaker, and 4 of Carvet. That's really what the deck is built around. So going through the unit suite here, we've got Fenris Nightshade here, 3 copies of this. Now it is a source of card advantage a lot of times because you can pay 3 to draw a card, but honestly a lot of times it's just a body. It's just a 3/2 for 2, and that's what you're playing it for. You have other sources of card advantage, but this is great because it serves both roles. It can be an early blocker against aggressive decks, and if you need it to, it can draw a card. So pretty good card there. Really key for the early game is Rip Knife Assassin, 2/2 deadly with Warcry. It doesn't really replace a removal spell because it can be dealt with, but it's really important to curve out. You don't want to be playing a deck where you don't do anything for the first 3 or 4 turns. So being able to play out your Rip Knife Assassin and gum up the board a little bit, and sometimes attack and get a couple Warcry triggers is pretty key there. Smuggler, of course, you've got your 4 copies of your Smuggler to go get things from the market. And then here's where you hit your powerhouse, your 4, 5, 6 drop. You've got Incarnus, which we've talked about many times. It's just an incredibly powerful card. It gives you ridiculous card advantage and gives you a must-answer threat. You've got Sodi Wingbreaker, which also gives you card advantage, drawing a card at the end of the turn if the enemy player took damage. And Key has this awesome onslaught ability, which if you've attacked with a unit this turn and then you play Sodi on summon, it deals 6 damage to an enemy unit with flying or an enemy sight. So it can kill dragons, and it can kill Xenon Temples, and it draws you a card, and it's a 3/6 body. So all around really sweet card here. And then Carve It, which you're seeing a lot, 4 copies of this in this deck. When your opponents are priced into using removal on your threats like Incarnus and Sodi, leaves less removal for Carve It, which can really take over the game. So 4 copies each of those 3 units, which can really win a game out of nowhere. You have removal in the form of Permafrost and Dizo's Office here. We'll get to other removal soon, but Permafrost less good against Elysian, but Elysian hasn't really been being played as much at the top tables here, at the top ranks, so it's not, you don't see it very much anymore. So it's pretty effective against the rest of the field. And even if it's not effective, Cultists can sack things, but just being able to slow things down on turn 1 to give you time to play out your 4, 5, and 6 drops is really important. Dizo's Office, really powerful, both in the form of removal from the cut ties, but also really hard to deal with sight and gives you a lot of advantage. So good card for 7 there. It's kind of like the top of your curve here. You have your 4, 5, 6, and Diesel's Office kind of acts as your 7. Spells, you have 4 Seek Power. The power is a little demanding in the deck. You really want to hit the triple Shadow for the Incarnus. You also want double Primal for Sodi. So make sure you have double Primal for Wisdom and Sodi, but you really want that triple power, triple influence for Incarnus as well. Kind of ignore the Edict. There's kind of 1 open slot in the deck. This can kind of be anything you want it to be. I'm testing it out a main deck Edict because there's so much Cultists and so much time decks right now, but you can kind of have this be whatever you want to be. It's just kind of a flex slot. 4 Vara's Favor to help with the Shadow Influence. Also can pick off some things in the early game, can pick off some Cultists. Does a lot of things you need it to do. Devouring Shadow, 4 of Devouring Shadow. This is the removal of choice. Actually, it's 4/3 between Devouring Shadow and Fell Ritual, so you kind of have your spot removal at 3 and 4. Because the deck is pretty heavy on Shadow Influence, you can usually take care of something pretty good here. You can get something with, 3 strength or 3 or 4. You can take care of things pretty easily with Devouring Shadow. And the key to Devouring Shadow is it gives it permanent stat reduction. So if you give something -3/-3, if you give an Incarnus -3/-3, they can't bring it back from the void. So really key there to permanently remove units there. Really important to remember for that. Wisdom of Elders, not your most efficient card advantage, but in this deck, you need to draw cards, so it's something you can do here. And there's not really great card draw in Expedition right now, so it does what you need to do. Fel Ritual, a little bit worse than Devouring Shadow in this deck, costs 1 more, but it's just a straight kill spell, so it can kill something if you need it to. It does put the dragon in your void, not super relevant, except for if you're in a grindy matchup and you bring in the Vara out of the market, then you can get the dragon back. Influence here, pretty common. You've got 4 seats, 4 Feln Insignia, and you've got the 4 deadly emblems here. Then we go to your market. Market's got some cool things. So you've got the Vara for the grindy matchups, being able to hit a Vara, especially against Cultists or other grindy games. Being able to bring back an Incarnus or a Carvet is usually just game at that point. Hostile Takeover. This is an extremely sweet one, especially against Cultists and other decks. Being able to permanently steal an Incarnus or a Carvet or a Sodi is just ridiculously powerful. You get the unit. It's a 2-for-1 because you're spending 1 spell. You're getting rid of their best threat and you're taking it. So built-in 2-for-1 there. You do have to be a little careful because if they're able to pump the power at some point, you actually lose it. This falls off, but that really doesn't come up that much in Expedition, so I don't think it's as big of a deal. Malediction, of course, really good against aggressive decks, pretty good against Cultists if you can time it right. A common get out of the market. Felrock's Choice, this one's a really funky one, but it's very powerful if you can do it. So it's got 2 modes. The first mode is kill a cursed unit and draw its curses from the void. So for example, if you permafrost something, then you Felrock's Choice, you get to kill the thing that's permafrost and you get to draw the permafrost back again. But it also works on your own unit. So if for some reason your Incarnus gets permafrosted, you can actually kill your own Incarnus that's been permafrosted, and then you draw the permafrost off of it. So you're able to do that. Or a hostile takeover. So if somebody hostile takeovers one of your units, you can Felrock's Choice to actually kill that unit, and then it goes back to the void, and then you get to draw the hostile takeover off of that. So pretty sweet. And then similarly, negate an enemy spell played on you or one of your units, and steal it and play it from the void. So if your opponent's banking on a key removal spell and you're able to counter it and then play the removal spell back on their units, it's just that's brutal. So it's a little bit situational, but it's very powerful if you can get it to work. And then we've got an anti-time and justice edict. This is pretty good against Cultists. It's pretty good against Legion. It's pretty good against, obviously, Cambrai, but although you don't see that very much. Hits a lot of things in the format. Pretty much anything that isn't dragons, this can take care of. And then if they are playing things with dragons, you got your Devouring Shadows and your Fel Rituals and your Sodis to take care of that. So you don't need this as much. But that's to take care of cheap things that you need to deal with. So that's the deck. A couple other things to think about. So in the aggro matchups, you want to grab Malediction. You want to use your permafrost aggressively. You want to trade off aggressively with your assassins. You really want to trade off aggressively with your Nightshade. Don't be afraid to trade this off. You really just want to be able to trade off. Don't let them play out creatures on the board, and then use your late game, your Incarnus, your Sodi, and Carvet to close the door later. But you really want to aggressively trade off early against more grindy matchups and things like Cultists, and Cultists especially. So we want to talk about that one a little bit. Again, the key cards are going to be your more powerful cards, going to be your Vara, your Incarnuses. The key thing to remember against Cultists is they're going to have Recursion, so Devouring Shadow is good. They're going to have Vara, so if you get into the late game, you might want to hold on to one of your removal spells until they play Vara. You don't want to go and kill off something random on turn 7 and then have them go to their turn and play out Vara and you not have an answer. So if the game's going late and you feel like they're getting up to 8 power, they've gone to the market, you really want to hold up a kill spell for Vara. You got to be able to answer it the turn they play it. If they play a Vara, they get something back, get 1 or 2 things back, and you can kill it that turn, you can still win that game even though they've hit Vara. So you just got to be aware of that. And then probably one of the most key parts of the Cultist matchup is you really have to be aware of them playing Xenon Temple. So Xenon Temple's tough because they can play it out and then they can use the killer right away to take care of one of your units, so it's hard to pressure. They can kill your Incarnus, for example, off of it. So you want to play the control matchup, you want to answer their threats, but you also have to be very careful of making sure that you have some sort of pressure so that if they land a Xenon Temple, you can answer it right away, and you don't have to kind of let them get all 3 modes off of it, because so it's a balance of make sure you take care of their units, but you also have to have some pressure to be able to threaten a Xenon Temple so that it doesn't go off on you. So that's the deck. It's pretty fun, kind of a classic control style deck, lots of removal, lots of really powerful cards. I think it works in this format. Sodi was a big add here, but your 4, 5, and 6 drops are so incredibly powerful, especially in Incarnus, that you have the power there. So as long as you can answer your opponent's threats and start playing out your units, you should be able to take home most of the games. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions about that. Thank you again to MurderOfCrowss for this awesome deck list, and let's check out a pair of games here. Again, coming up very soon on Tuesday, we'll have our next Tuesday night Eternal event. So that's Tuesday, December 3rd, right after the Thanksgiving holiday. And that will be an expedition challenge. So hopefully from these last couple deck techs, you'll have a couple ideas. Although we may have some balance changes. We may have some format changes coming before then. So I would be surprised if there wasn't a little bit of adjustments, maybe to Cultists, maybe not. But we may see some adjustments before that tournament. So we might be able to play some of these decks. Hopefully these will give you some ideas, but we'll have to see what the balance changes are. It depends on when this video goes up, but it could be today, it could be tomorrow. We'll see what those balance changes are and might adjust the format and maybe see some fresh decks on Tuesday. So check that out at Battlefy, and we'll see you there. Okay. First game here. This is awkward. I don't think it's a keep. It's nice to have these 2/2 drops in this removal spell, but I don't want 2 cards that we're super far away from playing, so we're going to throw that one back. We're going to get this. This is a pretty good hand. It's a little slow, but we've got Devouring Shadow on 3. We've got an Incarnus, and we've got a Smuggler that we can use depending on the matchup here. All right, so they're going to play out an emblem as well. We're just going to pass it back. See what they're on here. All right, Cultist matchup here. We probably will want to Devouring Shadow that, but we're off of there. We don't want them to ramp out too much power here, so we'll have to see. We're a little bit slow on here, but what can we do here? All right. So there's a Faithful. Yeah, we're going to want to take care of this high profit here because we don't want them to be able to ramp out that power. So we want to put them back down to 2 on this turn. We can also Malediction. So this is an interesting choice. What we could do is Smuggler here and go get Malediction for next turn, which is a good play, but I'm afraid of them ramping out too quickly here and being able to play out something powerful. Although with their influence, the best that they can do is if they have exactly another double, which I feel like they would have run out by now, then they could play Temple and we'd be in really bad shape. But because they haven't, I think I'm going to go aggressive and go for the Smuggler play. It's either Devouring Shadow on the High Priest or it's Malediction. So I'm going to go ahead and Smuggler here, toss back the Diesel's Office to grab the Malediction for next turn. Because of their influence, I don't think they're going to be able to play out something totally game-breaking on this turn, but could be wrong. We'll see. Well, that hurts. That's what I was hoping for. We'll block here because I don't want them to be able to trigger Arc of Soul on that. And we're going to... it's kind of throwing a unit away, but I don't want them to be able to trigger Arc of Soul and ramp again. Now, they can sack something in return here, of course, but nothing to be done about that. We're going to Malediction their board away, drop them back down to 3 power. Now, they can Smuggler here if they want, but that's okay. That's not the end of the world. All right, there we go. So that's a pretty good setup, and now we've got 2 Incarnus in hand. That's fine, not a huge deal. That's really fine. This one unit's not going to kill us, especially the way it is right now. Okay, so we can actually do both here. So we're going to Seek Power first, get a Primal Sigil here, and we're going to Incarnus, which is pretty good. Devour is not bad. We're not going to be able to grab, we're not going to be able to use this at all. So do we want a 3/5 deadly for 4, or do we want to Devour? It's unfortunate we can't hold up the Devour this turn, but I feel like with the opponent having removal, we will want that. Could also get the 3/5 deadly. Yeah, let's get the Devour here. Maybe that's wrong. Could just want another threat since we only have the Incarnus in hand. We'll go ahead and take 7 here now. Now, if they want to sacrifice to get Arc of Soul, that's fine. Yep, that's fine at this point. We've gotten enough. We've gotten further enough in the game where that's okay. We'll attack with our Incarnus now, and we actually have our Devour up now, which is nice. There we go. We'll play this. We'll play out a second Incarnus now and keep Devour up. Ooh, swap your health with the enemy players. Could be. That could be pretty good. These are just okay. Yeah, that could be something. All right. Gonna keep the Devour up in case they go for removal here. I'm curious what they're grabbing here. They may grab Vara, but they're still a couple turns away from playing that. But we'll see. All right, so there's the Temple. So this is okay. So this is actually going to be pretty good because they're going to try to, I assume they're going to try to kill one of our Incarnuses here. Yep, so there you go. Okay, we'll sacrifice this one, and then we'll kill the site on our turn. So that's pretty nice. Yeah, they get the Incarnus to their void, which kind of stinks, but it's all right. We'll take that. That's fine. We will go ahead and kill their site, which is nice. And then let's see here. Our life total is going a little low, but that's okay. I don't want to play out Devouring Shadow yet. I want to take care of one of their better units for that. So I think what we're going to do is permafrost this, play out that. We'll play. Now we've already got 8 power, so we'll hold the Vara's favor in case we can hit something, but not yet. We don't have another Devouring Shadow, unfortunately, but oh man. All right, and there goes our Vicious Rejuvenation. There goes that, but that's all right. We should have plenty other of things in our hand. Unless they have a big threat and they take Devouring Shadow, yeah. Interesting. But now they know we have the Devouring Shadow, so. We don't know what they grabbed from the market with this. I'm assuming it's Vara, but Vara's pretty good on this board. So Vara can get back Shadowlands Guide into a Cultist, into Incarnus, which is pretty bad, but what are you going to do about it? Yeah, can't stop them from doing anything. I assume they have a kill spell for this, but nothing we can really do about it. All right, no, so we're going to get to Mastery here, invoke again. Give an enemy unit and every other unit -2/-2. We could do that. Headsman Axe. We don't have a lot of units on our board, right? Yeah, just in our void, just one. I don't know if that's great. This also is not a relic weapon, which I learned the hard way. Beast Caller. I mean, part of me just wants the Warlock's Brew, but I think we'll take the Beast Caller just as another threat. We'll do this. We'll play out the Emblem. We'll decimate and get this. We might just want to do that to get the Shadow Sigil out of our deck, but we don't really need it at this point. So thinking maybe there's something we can ping off for the 1 damage, but I could see firing this off just to get a Shadow Sigil out of the deck. I could see it either way. Now we've got 2 removal spells. They know about the Devouring Shadow. They don't know about the Fel Ritual. If they do Vara, you know, they'll get back some threats, but we'll just have to do what we can against that. Yep, that's fine. I mean, we knew they were going to do something like that. We don't have an answer for it, so. Well. Alrighty. So, this is where we could get interesting. We could use 2 removal spells if we want to on these 2 units and then try to get in with the Beast Caller and try to get 2 5/5s. That's pretty aggressive because they could have another Smuggler. They could have a removal spell, which we would kind of get punished for. But otherwise, we're just kind of sitting back. I think it might be worth going for here. Why don't we fire off the Permafrost and see... All right, there is a response, which makes me think that it's probably not a good idea to go in with the Beast Caller. Actually, they might, yeah. So they have a silence here. So I think we just attack with this then. You get the War Cry. That's fine. You can always block with this. Oh, they just had a Devour. Okay. Well, maybe that was my fault. Maybe I should have gone with the original play. But because there was a pause, if they have a Smuggler or if they have a removal spell, we get kind of punished for wasting our removal spell there. So that's why I didn't want to go for it. But I guess that does make sense. All right, carve it. We're obviously using our Devouring Shadow here. So let's do this. And then, yeah, we'll pick off one of these Cultists here. I don't want to use the Fel Ritual, though. I mean, we can't this turn anyway. We'll attack with both of these, though. They can attack back for 2, but that's okay. Okay, another Carvet, so we'll have to use the Fel Ritual here, unfortunately. All right, well, that's actually pretty good. So we'll do that. And then the question is... This still can't get through this Cultist, unfortunately. But I think we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. Get rid of that. And then we'll keep the pressure on here. Now we're out of removal, though. So if they're able to Vara here, then we're in trouble. Or Incarnus. But we haven't really drawn anything. We haven't hit any of our card draw either, unfortunately. So we've had a lot of answers, but we haven't had a ton of card draw. So we're going to need to find something here soon. Well, that's not it. So yeah, we'll attack with both, but they're probably going to hit Vara here soon. We'll go ahead and play out one of these sigils. I'm assuming Vara's coming down now, which unfortunately we don't have an answer for, but we also couldn't let those two Carvets sit around. Okay, Edict is fine. That's a good sign. If they had 8 power and they used an Edict on our 2-drop, that's fine. Okay. Permafrost. We can Permafrost the Cultist, but we still can't get through with the Beast Collar, so that doesn't really do anything. So I guess we're just holding that for now. Yeah, we can just hold that for now. There's no real reason to do that. We can put it on that if we want. All right, that's pretty good. Maybe we don't even need to do it on that. Well, I don't want this making a killer attack or anything, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then I'm going to attack. I just want them to hit like Xenon Temple and be able to give this killer and then take our Carvet or something like that. So, okay, that's fine. Yeah, unfortunate, but I assumed they had something like that. Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty good. So, Dizo's office, they will be able to exalted this onto the Cultist, but that's not really the end of the world. Yeah, let's do that. Let's kill this. Well, we could also kill this, I guess, but that's fine. Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll just pass turn, and we'll block with our deadly if we want, but having this out is pretty nice. Be able to draw a card here too, which would be nice. Ooh, Sodi's very nice. Okay. So let's draw a card here. Ooh, do we want to get Smuggler to get Vara? Yeah. Do we have the good things in here? Or we have a Carvet in here. Incarnus was silenced. Yeah. Let's get... it feels bad passing on the Fel Ritual there, but that's nice. It's possible we just want to hold Sodi. That's possible. Just hold Sodi until they play out another Carvet. That's probably not right, though. Although we can't really attack through or anything, so we'll just play Smuggler, pass this, get Vara, and then we'll just pass turn here. And there we go. So that's kind of how the Cultist matchup goes there a little bit. I'm a little surprised they didn't grab the Vara from the Void. I know they went really early in the game, so maybe they thought it was too early to grab the Vara. They didn't have the power for it, so they grabbed the removal spell. But I think in that type of matchup, that's going to be the card that really matters. So if you're Cultist there, I think you need to grab the Vara to make sure that you restock there, because if they did have the Vara that turn and they were able to play out the Vara, they would have gotten the Shadowlands Guide to get back a Cultist, to get back Incarnus, and that would have been really, really tough for us. So, or even the yeah. Okay, this hand a little slow, but we've got a Devouring Shadow in a Vara's favor into a Sodi, so a little slow, but I like it. I think it'll be fine. We'll see here. I am going to get a Shadow off of the Seek power. Even though we have a lot of Shadow, you don't need triple Primal. So with Devouring Shadow, you want to get as much Shadow as you can. You just need the double Primal, which we already have. So, All right, playing 2 cultists here. Unfortunately, we can't stop them from triggering Arc of Soul, but we can take care of one of the cultists. I don't mind using Vara's Favor on that. There's not really a lot of other 1 health units that matter, so at least this makes them sack their only unit if they want to do that, which is fine. Nothing we could do to stop it. Ideally, you want to play out something that makes it so that they can't do that, but oh well, nothing we can do about it. All right, we're just going to get more power here. Not great, but we are getting the power up to be able to play our threats, so now we just need to draw an Incarnus, something else. That's fine. It's not a big deal. I don't really want to remove either of these units, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play power and pass, and I'm going to Wisdom of the Elders, and then we can Sodi next turn, which is fine. We won't get all the value out of Sodi, but that's fine, unless we draw like an Incarnus or something. Though it would be nice, Sodi to take out a site would be good too if they play a site next turn. All right, so they have fast spell here. Okay, so we can Sodi. They're probably going to, assuming they're playing Smuggler here, so we can either Sodi or we can just play out Vara's Favor. We could Vara's Favor and Devouring Shadow if we want. That's kind of wasting a Devouring Shadow. Yeah, we're not taking a ton of damage. I'm going to slow roll this. I'm going to hit that. And then I'm just going to pass. I don't want to waste our removal spells on that. And they're going to go Smuggler, but that's fine. We're not going to take a ton of damage here. The only argument for playing Devouring Shadow on this is that if they do get Vara, they don't get to do the double play here with the Shadowlands Guide, but that's okay. Okay, there's the Incarnus. That one we will Devouring Shadow so that it can't come back. They do get their card out of it, unfortunately, but do what we have to do here. All right, we'll play this. We'll Devouring Shadow. And then I think we'll just pass. We can take 3 again. At some point, we'll have to play out this Sodi, but we need some powerful things here. We already got 10 power in our hand, so there's a Xenon Temple, which is very unfortunate here. I also wish we had something that we could play out to be able to attack with our Sodi and trigger to deal 6 damage to the site, but of course we don't, unfortunately. So we're going to play the Sodi here. I'm going to hold the Permafrost. I don't want to preemptively do that here. Unfortunately, they likely have removal for this. They can give that killer. Okay, they're going to deal with the Sodi. Yeah, we're a little behind. This isn't, like I mentioned before, this isn't how you want things to go in this matchup. You want to have a little more pressure. We got a little flooded with power here, so there's not a ton we can do. That's pretty good. How big is World Joiner? An 8/8. So we can actually Devouring Shadow the World Joiner, so it's not actually that big a deal. So what we're going to do is we're going to Incarnus here. We'll get... Oh, this actually could be good here. This will be good too. This is really good too. Actually, all 3 of these are really good. Do we want the lifesteal? Do we want the cute play to try to kill him out of nowhere? I think this might be too cute. It's powerful, but I think it's too risky. So it's either this or it's this. 6 power 5/5 or 6 power steal their thing. The lifesteal could be relevant on this. I'm going to play out the Auric. I'm going to play the Auric Captain. That could be wrong, but yeah, let's Permafrost that. Yeah, that could be wrong. That's a tough one. I don't know. I think I could see arguments either way. Well, there's your hostile takeover. That's unfortunate. That's a good play by our opponent there, grabbing that hostile takeover. That's really tough. We're at 7. Yeah, we're going to have to Fel Ritual this, unfortunately. I don't think we have another option here. And we can't play the other one. So we do have the removal spell for the World Joiner, but we don't have a lot to do here. And we don't have any pressure. Our opponent played this really well. They played really well grabbing the hostile takeover. They did have the Incarnus and the Edict, so we just really fell behind. As I mentioned in the deck tech, you gotta at least put some threats out. You can't fall behind on Edzine and Temple. So we'll do this. Oh, wow, that is absolutely brutal. And I think that's probably game. Yeah, nothing we do about it. I guess we can put in, what's this, 4-2, that's only 6 power. Yeah. Wow. Well played by our opponent. They had the right answers. Edict, main deck Edict is not something you see very often from these Cultist decks, but that definitely got us there. So, okay. Hopefully you saw that. It's a pretty good matchup against Cultist, but of course Cultist is a very strong deck, so it's nothing's going to be super useful against them, but hopefully you got to see how that plays. I like it a lot, as I think I'm now 7-1 with the deck. I think that was my first loss ever with the deck. So they're close. Those games are still tough. They're not gimmies. But I think this deck's pretty fun to play. Gives you a lot of interesting decisions. You get to play with some really powerful cards and gives you a good matchup against the field. So if you want to try out something in Expedition, I would recommend giving this a run. Thanks again for MurderOfCrowss for giving us the deck list, and I hope everyone enjoys. All right, we will see you Tuesday, December 3rd for our next Tuesday Night Eternal event. It'll be an Expedition challenge, and hope everyone enjoys. Go ahead and like, subscribe on YouTube. Let us know if you have any questions or comments, and love to hear from you, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.